question of the day here. I think I kind of like this. I'm going to start doing this more often. Question of the day here is kind of, do you ever think that people get, maybe it's a two-part question, maybe do you ever think that people get irritated if they are wrong about something that they really, really, really want to be right about? And or do you ever think that it's not that they get right, it's that they want to be wise in their own eyes, and so they possibly, that person cannot I don't know, it's some kind of cognitive block or something that says I can't go back on what I previously thought. I'm not talking about like a confirmation bias where you walk into a situation and you say, I already have my mind made up, but thanks for asking, here's my answer. We're not talking about that. We're talking about, maybe that is what it is. But we're talking about when somebody makes a decision and acts on that decision, is there a pride and an ego thing that says, you know what, I'm not going to go back on this. Whatever I assumed, whatever gossip I got, whatever rumor I heard, whatever choice I made, that will be the final thing that goes through my head, and that's it. It's done. There is no, like, you know, be renewed daily. You want to grow. You want to progress. You want to do things like that. Thank you. But some people just cannot be, you know, they for whatever reason they just can't, or they won't. So this is what I wanted to show you today, and I think I'm going to forward this to the other pastors here in church. I mean, here in town. So this is back in 2011, and I don't want to. How far can I scroll up? Nah, let me just keep that right there. And just so we're clear, this is from. That's from Burleson. That's not when it says, you know, reasonable doubt as to intent. That's not the claimant's opinion. That's the nice. I won't say that's the nice way because it's not a nice way, but that's the nice way of saying, you know, Stacy lied. Okay, fine. But when somebody goes in to make a claim or something about domestic violence or family violence or whatever it's called in your jurisdiction and in your neck of the woods, here's the thing to tackle and the thing to really consider and think about. You've got people, we'll just call them Katies. You've got Katies that go around thinking, like, there is no reality, that facts don't exist, public record doesn't exist. And that's what I find concerning until I realize that that's kind of a predominant thing among pastors. So initially I'm going to send this to Rick Owen and Don Womble and Scott Sharman. Now, here's my initial thoughts and what I want to kind of go back on and just everybody say, okay, namaste, woosah, you know, let's all go get a burger and a beer. Which is, I think if I remember correctly, I can go get my old phone. I think Scott actually offered to do that one day. When somebody, okay, so this is not Hollywood. This is not This is not a political hoopla or anything like that. When somebody says, "Henny penny, woe is me, the sky is falling, damsel in distress, princess trapped in the castle," this is the Bible Belt. This is Smallville. It's growing, but when you've been here for 80, 60, 40 years on my generation, the town is getting smaller every day, getting closer every day. So when you've got somebody who says, came home drunk. Well, I don't want to get into all that. But anyways, this lady needs to cover her butt, so she decides to file something, and do I call him detective or now captain? The detective, now captain, here in town, does his work. And I give him evidence, obviously that I don't know if she didn't think the lie through far enough or what, but anyways. So and then you wind up with this right here that says reasonable doubt as to intent. Okay. Nobody's ever going to charge somebody with lying to police about domestic, family issues, whatever, because that's you've got the common thought pattern there that that will deter other people from coming in. I really don't think it will. As a son of a domestic violence survivor, I don't. But anyway, that's every time somebody lies, it takes away from somebody else. That's just the reality. Okay, so when a woman lies about domestic violence, domestic abuse, family, whatever it's called in your neighborhood, your neck of the woods, when that happens, it's not a matter of if. I think we need to get past that point and just deal with when. It's a lot more efficient if we just say, we can pull public record, and we can say, we can sit there and watch the police recordings and go, dang, girl, she did not, oh my, what the, no, but that, and you can sit there and count I think somebody did that. They counted 88 lies in a 20, was it 20-minute period? 22 minutes? Okay, 22-minute period. It's even. It's what, 4? Okay. When somebody lies, what do you do? And when somebody, comes to you and says, look, this person is lying, what do I do? I think it's time to tackle that issue of, what do you do inside the church when, if you say, hey, Scott Sharman, look, I came back to the church, after I took a shower. I came back to the church after that 72-hour mandatory hold. Right? That again, understand both my perspectives. It should be there. There's a little 10-year-old boy that says this is a good law. However, when somebody lies, it's not cool. So forget about the legal stuff, because they have actual detectives, not. And I don't mean to. I think because I've been here, hopefully somebody will give me a little bit of grace, but detectives investigate. They're not blindsided, naive, gullible pastors. Just saying. When that happens and somebody comes in and they lie, and I know that I'm not the only one, because some of these people and elements are common, and let's just say there's some old gray hairs in Burleson that are tired of some of the same people pulling the same crap to get the same results, and they, hell, I don't really know that would say this. They're just tired of people lying just to get their drama handled. So when a guy comes to the church and says, "Look, she's lying," for whatever level, whatever reason, sure, I can prove it. Sure, I can make a public records request, and come back and prove it to you and show it to you, and literally let you watch her lying in her own, like literally it's right there. But that's not the point. But some of the lies are awesomely, like, do they read a book to make these things up? Or I'm just saying, you got to be like really creative to think some of these up. Yeah, like the writers on TV. You're like, how is he a polygamist? How do you figure he's still married? He's married. Okay, which lie are y'all trying to get now? Like where? You ever just wonder where they think some of these things up? So okay, but as a Smallville church, hometown church, and this is the part that I don't get about the Charmin factor, because it's true both at the Charmin factor and the Owen factor, is that you've got Charmin who's got his son as a kid, and within I don't know how much of this I can or cannot show. September 16th. So as of September 16th, I guess, is that? Anyways, it was within a few days. They took all the evidence that I gave them, and then they took her statement, which is what she had, which is just a statement. Well, and that's what it's supposed to be for. Whenever Jan says, never mind, no, I'm going to start crying. But no, for real, that's what it's for. But the presumption is that statement is telling the truth. So when Charmin gets this, and it's the guy got really mad, and I didn't really say anything back in 2011, but it seems like the more we look at this situation, it seems like everything kind of stems from that. Everything that happened over at Pathway. You can see that the kind of trickle down and the veins and the connecting lines that go back to not you, Scott Charmin, just directly, but it was in the handling of that. Obviously, Stacy can go on to say whatever she needs to, and she probably does need to. Because nobody really wants to be seen or known as a liar, especially in Smallville, which she's already gone from. But I don't know. Somebody said she went to Oklahoma for like a year or so to make sure she didn't lose her nursing license, and then she came back. I don't know. When somebody does that, though, what's the right way to handle it? Because at no point should, if I've gone to talk to the pastor of a church, and I've said, hey, look, this is what's going on. I need help. Please help. Please give me advice. Please give me help. Please give me advice. Give me all of your wisdom. Give me all of your advice. There shouldn't be... Yeah, there really shouldn't be a reason for, somebody else to come in, just walk in off the street and say, 3 months or 2 months or 2 weeks later. I mean, beyond. See, that's the thing. Both of these elements have a cop in them. And I'm just sitting here looking at this public records request going, what the hell did y'all just not look at? Anyways, I mean, it's a very honest question. But there should be no reason for Stacy to be able to walk in the door at the ABC church and for Stacy to say, you know what, I want you to know XYZ PDQ, the sky is falling, henny penny. I have oceanfront property in Arizona, and there's a Nigerian prince that needs your money. It's for the babies and the furry kittens. Please send money now. That shouldn't happen. I mean, that, and then of course it spring up. Oh well, it kind of explodes into this thing of gossip and rumors. And you know what I heard? What was the one that? Yeah. I heard Brad did something to the kids over there, and that's why he can't ever go back. Well, sorry, Jill. That's not true. But then you see that, hold on, what was that, 2014? No, that was 2012. See, that little content of information should have never made it to Jill, because it could have been handled before it, went there, or before it got bigger. And again, it's not that Stacy or anybody else can't say something in and of themselves, but it shouldn't come from within the church. And as a matter of fact, I still think that the church should be the one that says, "Hey, look, she's not telling the truth. I have a lieutenant with Cleveland Police Department on that I'm paying, and he had the brain power, I don't know, the cognitive thought, the something to pull public record." Or, I mean, I'm the pastor of ABC Church. My son is a cop, and somewhere in there did it just not? I don't know. It is. Well, it's not just that, but it's that they make it dangerous for everybody else. And they don't care as long as you get to stroke your ego on one. What did he call it? I'm not repeating that. On each one of those, there's, I mean, forget about the fact that anybody in the world can use the inner tubes and the interwebs and the internet. It's not sexist. It's not racist. It doesn't not work. You click the thing. That's it. Brad, I heard that, what was, oh, I would love to see the said restraining order that you have against her. Click, Conaway, enter. There it is. I mean, that's the thing, is you got like police and in that case it was Katie, the realtor, and she pulls from lot and block numbers. That's her job, is to This is the cabinet. This is the sink. This is, okay, you'd like to buy it now? Okay. Lot 14, block 7 of McAllister edition. I was about to say somebody's name because I've been here so over behind where the new PD is. You remember them too? You know, Katie is sitting there pulling lot and block numbers from out of a magic 8-ball, right? No. Katie is sitting there pulling lot and block numbers out of a magical wand that she got from Six Flags. No. At both the churches, I mean, maybe not at the fountains, but well, sure he does. Yeah, he does. Not only do you have anybody, any Joe Schmo can pull this and click a search, and even if it's something that takes time to, you know, hey, we need to redact this, make sure there's no minors in here, or something like that. You know, it may be something that's going to take 2 or 3 weeks for somebody to get back, which is totally fine. So within that, like, either A, pull public record yourself, or run a search, or, you know, do something other than gossip and rumors. When somebody comes to you and says, look, I hate to say this, but she's, you know, she's not quite being truthful. And it's really not that hard with effort to realize that. Is that what the problem is? That there's not a cognitive, a social, or something else that says, you know, sometimes people lie, some people don't have a penis, they have a vagina. That's how simple it needs to be. Or some people have character. Everybody has character, whether they have a penis or a vagina. Yeah, it's vagina, not V. Yeah. Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. Kindergarten cop. Some people just don't. I mean, if they don't have that character, and you can see, and you can, if that's the thing. Is that the deal? Is if when you don't look, when you just make a conscious decision not to look? I mean, I think that's the concerning part, is that, you know, when she had Suzanne walk in and say, "This is Brad's mom." Okay, stop right there. Well, and that's the rough part, is because no, I forgive faster than I fart. I forgive faster than I fart. Been doing it for 40 years. You know, if okay, wait. Let me run this. Let me run this by you. Is it possible to have a 2-year-old little boy in in Johnson County where mom loses custody of the child? You know, does anyone believe that could happen? Does anyone believe that would ever happen? Is that something that is able to be processed in the old medulla oblongata? You know? Oh my goodness, somebody got adopted. Well, you understand that for somebody to get adopted, that means that somebody else I mean, either died or got locked up or lost custody of their child or, something. I think that was the scary part was, okay, mom's been dead for, 6 years now? Walked straight up into church and this is Brad's, like that lady lost custody of me when I was 2. And don't get me wrong, I've tried to foster a relationship with her over the years. We even went to Great Wolf Lodge, I don't know, a while back. But for somebody to so for somebody to walk up into Pathway and say, "This is Brad's mom. He's harassing us. Oh my goodness, Henny Penny, woe is me. The sky is falling." Okay, fine, but let's back that up. How is it that Scott Sharman never knew? How is it that Sharman could never figure out? Oh wait, homeboy must be telling, might be telling the truth because, click, click. Click, click, enter, wait 3 days for the report to come back. Or, instead of pulling public record, Scott probably could, you think? Scott probably could have said, "Hey, buddy, run down to BPD and see what's going on." Hey, on your way to, H-E-B or Albertsons, grab some chips for the barbecue Saturday. Hey, see if you got like 30 minutes this week, 15 minutes to run by BPD and see what the deal is. Scott Sharman could have done that as well. I think that's my concern is that every time somebody walks in the door and just says anything, it's filtered through. Okay, hold on, man. Hold on. Do you have a penis or a vagina? If you have a vagina, you're telling the truth. If you have a penis, you must be lying. Sorry. You're just sitting there going, is that how it really works? No, that's not how. Damn, that's how it really works, isn't it? What was that verse I was... Oh, it's when he takes the, it's when she takes his cloak and then runs to the king and says, oh my goodness, Henny Penny, sky is falling, woe is me. He wanted to have wild monkey sex with me. Dear king, lock him up. Whatever. I don't know, you like wild trampoline sex instead of wild monkey sex? Whichever one. No. But okay, so anyways, you guys know what I mean. Was it the king's wife? I forgot. Anyways, but I mean, you guys know what I'm saying, right? When it's not like it's the first time this has ever happened. It's not like it's going to go away either. Nor is it about to. I'm not unless one of the death threats get acted on. I'm probably not going to be dead. Hopefully, nobody's going to burn the house down. That's the crappy thing. She blows through the restraining order like it's, Why not just walk in and flip off the judge? Hey, Judge Neal, I think I'm going to blow through my restraining order. Ha ha! I have boobies in a minivan. Yay, go me. Ma'am? 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 I'm not going to really be able to go away. I'd kind of like to be in Burleson till, for another 40 years. Alive. Just so we're clear. In case one of the girls get a hold of this. But what we can't do is continually have somebody walk and, run into a church and say, we're all, I can't even do all of them. This is Brad's mom. He's harassing us. He's been kicked out of 3 other churches, and you guys have let him get away with it for 8,000 years. Okay, ma'am. Thank you for letting us know. I mean, that can't quite be the equivalent of the response that, always goes out to seemingly a lot of different episodes and a lot of different cases. That's not good. That's a bit terrifying when you realize that that's what's going on, pastors. Yeah, that would suck. I just thought of something. Womble's got sons. Owen's got boys. Sharman's got boys. I mean, if it was your kid, and for whatever reason, okay, don't say it would never happen, so I can't think out this question. That's such a stupid response. It would never happen. She would never, ... If this happened to your kid, if it happened to your son, what would... I don't know. What would you think the response should be for another pastor? Let's say Womble's son is going to Owen's church, and Owen's son is going over to Sharman's church, and Sharman's boy is going over to the Fountains. Whatever. So it's one big happy family of people going to churches, and let's say you've got a son that meets a wonderful young lady at the singles group, and they decide to start dating. They get into a relationship, and he says, ma'am, I want you to be the best. I want to empower you and encourage you to be the absolute best woman that you can possibly be. Let me take care of the house and the kids and all of that while you go to nursing school, and I want to make sure that you have everything you need financially, supportively, encourage and all that for you to go to nursing school, and she becomes a nurse, and voila, she's now independent, and she is a good, great, wonderful woman. Go girl power, yeah! And that's really the case. And then on top of that, that's where the bonus material comes in. Then on top of that, then she says, I think I'll just go have extracurricular activities. Yeah. I think I'll just go have extracurricular activities. Well, okay. I think you should probably get the water in your name and get your name off of the T-Mobile bill. And then she decides to say to your son, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm gonna make sure that I don't get any social crap for this. So I'm gonna accuse you of something. And the son walks up to the pastor and says, hey, look, this is what's going on. What should I do? I think the immediate response should be, you need to call, I don't know what the correct response is. That's the kind of the point of asking is, not legal advice, obviously, because you don't want to have, the liability that some of these places are now in. But at the same time, within the church, you don't want to make the church liable for, slander, false, claiming of false, whatever. You don't want to have the church liable for libel, slander, harassment, and a bunch of other stuff. You really don't want to have them be put in that position, and the only way to avoid it is to say, okay, we need to do something that verifies or checks, ma'am, are you completely and totally lying to us. We're not talking about like a gray lie or a little bit of a lie that gets maybe misinterpreted, or it was such a traumatic event, I lost my memory, but now I remember what happened. Okay, well, that happens, to moms, the real mom. So let's not dismiss any of that. At the same time, though, whenever somebody says, "Hey, look, this is Brad's mom," she'll say that he's harassing us. She'll say whatever I tell her to say, because obviously this lady is, I think, bitter and angry that she lost custody of me when I was a kid. At some point, what do we say to? What's the correct response to? I still think it's just, ma'am, we have healthy boundaries here at this church. Katie, if you don't know this, if you think this, I want to know why you think this before I act. Otherwise, we need to have boundaries with the Scuba Steve Safety Squad, and you and your hubby need to go. Or you can say to somebody, or not say to somebody, but you can say, okay, wait, tell me something. If old boy is out there on the golf cart and you just walked into church and suddenly you want us to think that he's harassing you and this is his mother and he's been kicked out of 3 other churches and the whole gamut of the recording. I can't even remember to, like, just so off the wall that, like, no, I would love to know who thinks that crap up in the first place. Maybe I'm just too, like, level-headed realist or whatever, but, like, damn. When somebody comes in and says that, why does it not occur to somebody or become part of the policies, procedures, and stuff like that, it's okay to say, ma'am, was he, it's not that you don't want to believe him, but you want to listen first and then decide to believe or keep questioning and then act, not shoot first, ask questions later. That's not a good position to take. Ma'am, if you want me to believe that he is bothering you in some way, that old boy's been here since 8:30 in the morning. You just walked in the door. Is he texting you? Is he Facebook chat, Twitter, chirp, WhatsApp, whatever? And why in the world are you just walking in the church and saying that? That doesn't occur to the person there to say, wow, before I act with my other head, I need to use this one and say or think something along that line, or something along that within that nature of thinking before we say, before we do anything else and act on, what was, not tickle the balls, excited the manhood, excited the hero complex before you have to, before you decide to get all excited and try to be the white knight and the hero and all that stuff, it's okay to not get so worked up over something and to just calm down and say, I don't even want to say calm down, but just like think, like listen to what you're thinking. Like if you were Charmin and and you look back and, wow, how many people come into church and say, "Dear pastor, what do I do?" She came home drunk after one of her affairs, and it was... That's what I think is funny about the whole thing. It's not funny at all. It's that oh, you can't. It's that here, I can move over here and find it. It's that, okay, wait a minute. If this started at 2:30 in the morning, what cop in the world doesn't know if you've got shit starting at 2:30 in the morning? Where was that person probably at about, oh, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes ago? It just didn't even occur to, never mind. It just didn't occur to, oh wait, she may have been out drinking. Not with her girlfriend, but yeah, like, did that just not occur to you that, yeah, oh look here, Wells Fargo, my activity, card, the one that she had, print. Here you go. And then, I was so terrified, I called my mommy. Girl, you called your mama at 2:30 in the morning. Hold on. my.tmobile.com. Print. Here you go. You just go down the line and you're like, you just go down the line in the list of all the stuff and you're like, or over with Pathways thing. You go over there and you pull the public record and you're like, y'all said that he's married to y'all said that he's going to do what at church? But you can clearly hear her repeating that. That's just sick. I don't even want to repeat what she repeated. But I'm just very concerned that there's a complete and total lack of desire to see past not see past, but to see beyond what did booby blindness, blinded by boobies, and not be inclusive of the fact that sometimes people lie and some people have a vagina. That's about all it comes down to is, you can't just sit there and say, well, we need to believe every woman. No, you need to listen to every woman, especially, 30 years ago when mom says, help, I mean, let me say this again. I'm a huge fan of ending and handling domestic violence correctly. But at no point in time can you ever just say, okay, well, you know what? Hold on. Do you have a cooter or a pecker? If you have a cooter, we will give you money. We will give you all of our resources, all of our time. If, however, you have a pecker and you don't want money, you don't want time, you just want to say, hey, look, I need your advice. What do I do? If that ever happens, and it has, unfortunately, some of these are some of the same key people, and other people get wind of it, and they're like, yeah, this happened to me too. Yeah, she did it to me too. But at some point, you got to sit there and say, okay, look, as the church, as the body of believers in Smallville, with police, with public record, with all of that, at what point are we going to stop being? At what point are we going to stop being liable? While making sure that Miss Conaway, you came from an independent. This is why I want all three of the. I would love for all three of these three pastors to get together and have just a town hall or a forum and a get together, because Womble knows about the independent fundamental the independent, fundamental, hellfire and brimstone, glory to God, get right or get left, turn or burn, fry or die. Yeah, like the Westboro, you know. It's like the intensity of David. It's like the intensity of David Koresh with the outfits of the Seventh-day Adventist. Or it's like the intensity of David Koresh with the outfits of the Latter-day Saints people. You know, it's, you know, you're going to have the skirts, you're going to have the all that stuff. But that's why I would love for all three of them to get together. You know, I think Rick would say, "Wait, you mean the abused can become the abuser?" And enter Womble, and Womble says, "Yes. After somebody's been abused for so many freaking years, they can then become the abuser." And then Charmin steps in and says, "Oh shit, I should have not enabled this 6 years ago." You know, that'd be awesome. I mean, not that he enabled it, but it seems like all of this seems to, you know, from Katie, Adrian, Jill, Holy Cross, and all of that. If somebody could just see me for who I am, instead of rumors and all that stuff, it seems like all this could be avoided, and I don't have to, you know, issue out a shit ton of cease and desist, and I think that's the only way to stop it, is to just, you know, issue a bunch of them, take everybody under the sun into court, and say, look, now this happened with a lady who's from a cult, and she is psychologically scarred for life. Not for me, but you understand that she's not going to stop obsessing. I mean, between the social reprogramming and the ritualistic, chronic abuse that they do over there in those cults, wires get crossed. And this lady's not going to stop. Well, when you couple that on top of, you know, Katie, Adrian, Faith, Jill, and I'm sure there's, you know, hundreds of other names that I could mention. I just don't have time, you know, for all of them. When all of those things happen, look, I don't want to be dead. Excuse me. There's a lot of you know, mentally unhealthy, or how do I say this? What's another way to say stupid but with a good heart? No, you can't say their name. What? There's got to be another way to say passionately small-minded people are going to, you know, that makes up a certain demographic of any community. And, you know, when somebody says, "Oh my goodness, there's that one guy, he eats baby brains with mayonnaise and farts on furry pandas, and I heard he's been kicked out of the church of all of everything," and see, that's why I'm not going to like make it up like the bullshit. And I heard that he worships the kneel on the mat people. I don't even know what that one is. What is that? I don't know. But isn't there a bunch of like different religions that do that? I don't even know why. It doesn't matter. It's stupid and it doesn't make sense, and somebody will believe it. You know, at some point, I think the church and the community does need to come together and say, look, Stacy lied, and she's not the only. I mean, this is not the only case. This is not the only incident, and this is not the only. This is not the only area of opportunity. I think it is the first time where somebody said, "Look, I keep journals. I actually have a halfway decent stack of them. You know, I pull public record. Um, that way half the stuff gets journaled for me. And it's going to happen again. My biggest concern is that it's going to happen to somebody else who's not quite so, and I'm not trying to blow sunshine on my ass here, but it's going to happen to somebody else who's not so loving and forgiving and level-headed and realizes and sees what's going on. I do think it's a recipe for, you know, he was right whenever he looked at all this. It really is a recipe for, disaster. And worse than that, it's a recipe for disaster that is easily preventable, either by asking better questions or by asking better questions and pulling just doing a little bit of research, and by thinking with your noodly noggin, not the other noodle. I like that a lot better, not the other noodle. It's okay to think with the head between the brain between yeah. What do you do when, not if, when somebody comes to you and says, I've got somebody that's lying about me, and they're right in front of your face. They're right under your nose. The police cruiser pulled up right in front of her car. And that's your safety team. And that's, when that happens, not if, when that happens. We've got to figure out a better way to respond, a better way to reply, a better way to handle it. And it needs to be okay to have boundaries with a person, regardless of if we like them, or if we have trusted them for decades, or if they have a vagina, or if they have a penis, or if they have a minivan, or if they wear pink, or if they are a Jew, or a Gentile, or a slave, or free, or socioeconomic status. It's okay to have boundaries and say, look, sir, I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to ask you to maybe not come to church for a week. Okay, no problem. Ma'am, I don't know what's going on, but you're not in physical danger right now, and you just walked in the church. Feel free to enjoy the service, but we are not going to be liable for what we don't know happened. Because there's a history of, I don't know, could have gone back 7 months. Yeah. Man, there's a history here, and we're going to give your claim a little bit of yeah.